are Geekcentric, and you can be too. Love ya. Get home safe, guys. Peace.
Welcome to the Geekcentric podcast, and welcome to our special Behind the Geeks episode for Peter Pan and Wendy. If you're joining us for the first time, we are Geekcentric, a podcast focusing on the world of movies, TV shows, games, toys, and collectibles, and all things Geekcentric. Joining me for this Behind the Geeks episode, I'm the Smee to his Hook, and we'll both never grow up. He's Justin, the Jolly Roger Lawrence.
Oh yeah, man, I'm never growing up. I've pretty much accepted that. My wife probably hasn't, but yeah. How are you, man? It's been a long time.
Oh, I'm doing good. I guess it's been a while since we've been traveling around Europe, Darcy and I, and you've been kind of holding down the fort, which is nice. I was gonna say though, getting older, our minds might stay young, but our bodies are getting older. If Peter Pan has the ability to, of what I remember, Peter Pan can fly and never grows up. Which one would you prefer? If you had to choose, you're only allowed one. There's not enough pixie dust for you, Justin. You have to pick one. Never grow old or fly.
It's a tough question.
It's a tricky one.
Do I want the ability to fly because I can get around? But then you think as you get older,
does it get harder to fly when you're old?
Does it get harder to fly? Like, does the pressure on your back start to hurt? Like, you're more hunched and stuff like that?
Yeah.
But then if you're young, right? Like, I guess, yeah, I would probably want to go with never getting old because I would still get old. Like, from all of these movies, wherever we watch, these old souls, if you will, that are, are encapsulated in younger characters, they get wiser. They get smarter, They grow up, but they're just stuck in a perpetuatingly young body. I'm thinking of Leah McHugh's character from Eternals, Sprite.
Yeah.
She was a kid, and but she was wise beyond her age. So I think that that probably would be me. I'd like to think of myself as that. I'd be down for that. I think flying might just freak me out even too. So, but I guess you'd get used to it.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm gonna go with flying because I think I like to think that we're as we said at the top, we're never growing up. We'll always be young at heart, and I think flying. I think you could make some good money off flying. You know what I mean? Like, start a TikTok trend where you're flying.
Sure,
dude. People would go nuts for that. You become the guy that flies, right? You could become
tricks,
right? You could do tricks. I'm sure you could get sponsorships with different
air
airliners, right?
You go to air shows and do like your own thing where you're like flying with planes.
I'm just saying, I think that's the way to go. And if I have to grow old a little bit and maybe I can't fly quite as high, but I can still fly, being that elderly man. Oh, hey, that's the guy that used to fly all the time. Hey, how's it going? I can fly. I think I could do that.
Yeah, but you would think though too. Again, like we were saying, if you get older, maybe it's had some ramifications to your body, but also you might not be as sharp.
Doesn't matter.
So
you
say, hey, I'm going to do my biggest trick. Yeah. See, well, I would imagine you'd want to get rich, especially after the trip that you just went on. So.
Well, I got to save up for Japan. But listen, we're not here to talk about Japan. We're actually here to talk about an interview that you did, Justin. I'm thinking of a wonderful thought, and that thought is that you should tell our lovely listeners who we had the chance to chat with.
Yes, well, I had the privilege to chat with Alyssa Wapanatâhk, who plays Tiger Lily in the upcoming Peter Pan and Wendy, a Disney Plus original film. Alyssa was born and raised in Alberta, Canada, and is a member of the Big Stone Cree First Nation. She's been acting since she was 16, and at this point, at 23, this is her feature debut. So this was a great opportunity to sit down and talk with Alyssa Wapanatâhk, Canadian talent, Tiger Lily herself. And, a huge thanks to our friends at Disney Studios Canada and Disney Plus Canada, by extension, for helping to set up this interview. because this was an absolute delight. It was cool to talk to Alyssa and learn a little bit more about what it meant to be playing such an iconic character like Tiger Lily in this new iteration of Peter Pan. So it was a delightful conversation.
Well, I definitely want to talk about that conversation. So without further ado, enjoy our interview with Alyssa Wapanatâhk. Hey, Alyssa, my name is Justin. Welcome to the Geekcentric podcast. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking, and thank you for taking the time today to join us here and talk a little bit more about this movie. I had a chance to see Peter Pan and Wendy last night, and very enchanting movie. I absolutely adored your performance as Tiger Lily. I think it was charming, and there was a sense of stoicness, a wisdom, and just very heartfelt all around. So I really, really enjoyed it. And my first question kind of actually just starts right there. In your own words, how would you describe Tiger Lily's personality and what motivates her throughout this movie?
What inspires her personality is mostly my culture, like where I'm from, and
Right.
just growing up. Like I didn't have my culture actually growing up. I didn't know much about it, but as a young adult, I started to learn and reconnect, and I found a community of elders, and they did these ceremonies. So I sat with them for a few years, and that was the biggest thing that meant the most to me, was that connection to ceremony and community. So that's Tiger Lily's heart. That's her core. That's who she is. And I knew that she needed that at her core. I know that that's where she lives. Like
Right.
that's her whole life. Because it's way back, like in the 1600? I don't know.
Yeah, it's way back. It's a way back playback.
Way back
yeah.
there. So I was like, she needs to be supernatural. This is her whole life. And yeah, just the teachings, everything that she is driven by is from our home, our ceremony.
Right. And it's from you. You know, I love that you were able to find a way to very instinctually bring your culture into it meaningfully, and that just jumps off the screen. It's been heavily criticized in the past. The depiction of Tiger Lily perpetuates, very harmful stereotypes. However, in this film, there is such an attention to detail on the cultural aspect, and it's portrayed in such an honest and beautiful way. Again, you've already elaborated on how you might have brought some of that to your character, but working with the production, how did you guys come to bring that to life in such a respectful, authentic way that honored Indigenous cultures?
Well, I think that started first the script. When I read the script, it was done so beautifully, and I noticed that it was left to also my interpretation. So there was a lot of like spots that I could fill in with my own take and my own character that I could bring in there. And really early on as well, David reached out to me and he asked if I wanted to bring in my own Cree culture into the film instead of creating it from somebody else's point of view. So I was all for it, of course. That was the best day ever. I was like, yes, like this is really good now.
Right.
But after that, we had all these cultural meetings. It was a team just for like all of our cultural aspects, that we would talk about everything and make sure that things are being taken care of and looked after. So I was on that team just because I wanted to make sure everything was also being taken care of from my point of view. And for Tiger Lily, I didn't want things to be look the other way or anything. I needed to make sure that every detail was in place. And we also had our cultural consultant, Dr. Kevin Lewis, on site whenever I needed him.
Right.
And he helped me a lot with the language as well. And my mushum was a big part of it. He was, even though he wasn't like hired on by Peter Pan and Wendy, he was still there for me throughout the whole thing. Yeah, and my grandma as well. My grandma was there for me throughout all of the Cree language. I would just call her, even though she doesn't answer her phone most of the time. I would call her up and I'd be like, Grandma, I need to know this. I need your help.
Right.
but yeah, she was a really big help to me as well.
Yeah.
What was the question? I can't even remember.
Well, no, that was the question. It's really
Okay.
what went into
Oh,
bringing
okay.
it all to life, because it looked like it was a group effort, even for the small amount of time that
Yeah.
we do see Tiger Lily's people and the sort of collective community. It all looked really enriched. I have
Mhm.
read that there was an attention to detail applied. So I just wanted to get a little bit more and wanted to know how your involvement worked with that. And I think that's great. I think that you got to bring a lot of yourself, your own identity into the character of Tiger Lily to help define her in this adaptation. And that's what you want, really. At the end of the day, you want it to
Yeah.
feel authentic and real, and most importantly, as I'm sure for yourself as an actor, to feel rooted into something that you can very much connect with. So I absolutely love that. um
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure like this was a massive production, and I'm sure it wasn't all easy. So with that, were there any challenges that you had to overcome in approaching, playing Tiger Lily in this adaptation?
Oh, there was tons. The few that stick out to me though is early on in the beginning of production for me, just when I went into character um, analysis and breaking down who Tiger Lily was. That was a challenge in itself for me because I realized that I can no longer live in my own comfortable bubble of just being me.
Mhm.
And I knew that I would have to let go of who I was, like who I was holding myself back from being almost. Because at that time I was really kind of closed off. I kind of
Yeah.
didn't really, I wasn't into my confidence, I guess. I wasn't really there yet. And
Yeah.
with Tiger Lily, she's everything. She is, she's bold and she is beautiful inside and out, and she's confident and she knows exactly what to do at any given moment.
Yeah.
And so that was a big challenge for me personally, but I don't think anybody knew that.
No, of course not.
Um,
Yeah.
no, but and then there was also, I think, just knowing how big of a deal that this was,
Yeah.
that really stayed with me throughout the whole filming process.
Hmm.
So I would have to really, really hone in and use my skills that I learned from school and what I learned from ceremony to just be able to move through this whole experience, being as huge as it was, not let it take me down,
Right.
not let it affect me or scare me away from living in my truth and my moment.
Yeah.
And yeah, so those were two really, really big things that I think, just personal development wise, those are big ones. And yeah, and everything else kind of just fell into place, even if there was things that were a little bit tricky that we had
Hmm.
to figure out with set props, you know just things. They worked out, and they were really supportive behind everything that I wanted or anything that I envisioned for Tiger Lily. They were there, so I
Yeah.
really appreciate that.
Yeah, it sounds like it was, again, a great collaboration. I'm
Yeah,
glad that you were able to feel like you were able to overcome some great sort of personal moments and find yourself. I love it, because you're right. Tiger Lily portrays herself very confident, and like she understands the situation, more so than anyone else in the movie, in my opinion. She's again wiser than she looks, right?
yeah,
And I think
yeah,
that really does show in the performance. Now, you're a storyteller as well, behind the scenes. I know you like to make movies and tell stories. Is that something you still want to pursue as a passion outside of acting? Is that and if so, are there stories that you want to tell personally to yourself that you would love to explore in
yeah.
film?
Yes. Well, I think like my style is kind of truth telling.
Hmm.
It's like truth or dare, but it's like truth or truth. Um, that wasn't funny. But I'm very like driven towards true stories, real stories, and
Yes.
I think that comes out in Tiger Lily as well. But for me, I do love writing. I
Yeah.
love writing, and I am working on a couple projects at home right now,
Good.
just in early stages, but
Good.
I'm hoping that they make it out there. Yeah. Yeah, I love
Awesome.
documentaries as well, so I need to do a documentary.
That's great. I love that. I would love to see what you do behind the camera, especially after the short film that I saw.
Oh, did you see it?
I did
Nice.
see it. I did see it. I did a little diving, and I found it. And like you said, truth is what you want to sort of immerse yourself in when you're in your storytelling. So I think
Yeah.
that's really great. My last question here. It's a fun question. We are called the Geekcentric Podcast, which means we just love to geek out over all the things we love. I wanted to know for yourself, what are some of your favorite things that you like to maybe geek out over? Is it any TV shows, movies, video games, books, hobbies, or just and anything that you just can't get enough of?
Oh, well, I'm a big geek. I love animals,
Right.
so I'm a huge animal person. My dog is was just running away from me before I set up this thing, but we love animals here. But also, I have my Xbox over there,
Yes.
my TV, and I love playing my Assassin's Creed.
Nice.
So yeah, I was a gamer girl growing up, and I don't want to let go of that because it's so fun.
Never.
Yeah, right. And
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know what else. I don't know. I like food. I love
Um,
veganism.
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's
That's
like
cool.
one of my biggest passions. So it's a little weird though. It's like one of those things that people are like, okay.
Well, yeah, well, it's again, it's become so much more relevant. I think
Yeah,
it's a good thing, and to promote it as well. I have a lot of friends that are definitely behind that as well.
yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Geekcentric podcast. It really means a lot. Like I said, your performance was fantastic. It definitely was a standout. So to have the opportunity to chat with you was really great. And I look forward to seeing what you do next, whether it's in front of the camera or behind the scenes, whatever it might be.
Thank you so much. And
Awesome.
thanks for watching my movie. Oh my God.
Thank you again. I hope you have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your interviews.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye, Liz.
And we're back. Fantastic stuff, Justin. I think whenever we get a chance to, chat with talented folks, it's awesome. But especially fellow Canadians, as you mentioned at the top of the show, Alyssa being born in Alberta. I gotta say, I love this interview. I love how open and honest she was when she mentioned that this role kind of opened her up to become more confident, like Tiger Lily. I think that's I think a lot of people are looking at this portrayal of Tiger Lily and thinking about how it will influence young girls and young Indigenous people, but you don't often hear about how these characters actually impact the people that help bring them to life. And so that was really, really nice to hear that that this role did that for her.
Yeah, it gave her a sense of confidence. She understood the importance of what it meant to be playing Tiger Lily, especially given, as I mentioned in the interview, the original Disney adaptation featured Tiger Lily, and it sort of perpetuated, very harmful stereotypes that haven't aged well over time. And to hear there was such a commitment and passion from the filmmakers and from Alyssa to bring a sense of authenticity to the cultural aspect that also allowed her, like you said, Nate, to open herself up and to realize and learn more about herself through that. It was very much a journey for herself as an actor and a spiritual journey for her faith and her culture. So I love that she connected with it that much more.
And it was nice to hear that she was given the room, to bring her authentic self, but also her culture into the character and into this movie.
Yeah,
and
was encouraged.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. Like, kudos to David Lowery and Toby Halbrooks and everyone on the team who ensured that they sort of asked her about that and asked her if she wanted to do that. And kudos to her for sort of taking that on. And I think it was lovely hearing about how she had, she'd have to call her grandma every now and then to make sure she got the language down right. And
her family was very integral, being that much more connected to her culture. Because I love the honesty that when she was growing up, she didn't really have her culture. And with this role, it seems like she's been able to reconnect with her culture as a sense of her identity and reestablishing that relationship. And I love that for her. I think that's, beyond this being her feature debut, she's walking away from this with a new perspective.
Well, and especially it being Disney, right? She's able to get her culture and her family, family's beliefs in front of a wider audience. I think it's, to get people to see how beautiful her culture and the Cree culture can be. I think it's I'd love to mention the idea of her maybe even doing her own, or she mentioned the idea of her even doing her own documentary. That would be dope, to see more of her truth and her journey, because she mentioned how she didn't necessarily grow up surrounded by it, and then she kind of found it a little bit later in life. And so I would love to sort of learn more about that and what that's like, and kind of how she went through discovering that would be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, and I've seen the movie. I know, Nate, you haven't seen it, but the one thing is that there was a level of authenticity to the details, like attention to detail, to representing Tiger Lily and the Cree culture in a very authentic way. And to be completely honest, I think that there's enough here that could be explored, even just as a Tiger Lily story. Even if it's like episodic content of learning more about Tiger Lily in this Neverland world. And you know what? I think she should probably write it, because she's a storyteller. As we were discussing in this interview, I did have the chance to actually check out her short film that she put out, because she's not just a actress. She graduated from the New Image College, which she's very proud of, her performing arts, and she was one of the first ever recipients of the TELUS Indigenous Storyteller grants, which she wrote, produced, directed a short film, The Boy in the Braid, which you can find on YouTube. It's a short film that clearly exhibits Alyssa's ability to, as she says, tell truthful stories about things that matter to her. I think she was very humbled at the fact that I actually took the time to watch it. And of course I was going to watch it in preparation for this interview, but I was also really interested in watching it for the perspective of her as a storyteller, which you can clearly tell she has a passion for. I love that she wants to tell more true and authentic stories. I honestly, as like an amateur filmmaker, I'd love to collaborate with her, because I think she'd have some great stories to tell, and bringing that to life would be dope.
Well, I actually did watch her short on YouTube as well before we recorded this, and I gotta say, there's a little bookend in there that I really appreciated. Won't give any spoilers away, but it has to do with a little toy car, and I thought that was a really cool artistic decision to kind of put that in two different places in the movie. And yeah, man, I think it's one of those things where you can definitely see the creativity behind it, but yeah, like you said, the truth and the honesty and the story, and yeah, I definitely connected with it. I thought it was great. But Justin, more to Peter Pan and Wendy overall. What were your thoughts? Did you want to? Obviously we're not going to give a full review here, but
we're still under embargo, so I'm just I'll offer up a reaction.
Sure,
really, more or less a tweet that I haven't tweeted out yet. Probably by the time you're listening to this, it's already been tweeted.
This is this is a pre. Whoa. We get to hear the tweet before it was tweeted. Wow.
yeah. But basically, Peter Pan and Wendy is very enchanting. David Lowery brings his keen eye for whimsy and finds ways to weave the old with the new, adding elements to keep the story grounded while still giving these very playful nods to the Disney classic. Lowery finds a way of balancing these fantastical elements with real human emotions. And to be celebrated from this movie more than anything else are the outstanding performances. Jude Law as an emotionally torn Hook was outstanding. I was a little iffy about Jude Law as Hook, but he delivered. Alexander Mulaney's Peter Pan was charming, and Ever Anderson as the bold and adventurous Wendy was a fresh take on the character. She's driven by the passion for adventure, and I really did appreciate how this movie found a way to hone in on that theme of adventure and connecting it back to the bigger theme of Peter Pan and not wanting to grow up. So I thought that was really well done. But I gotta say, the standout for me, and I'm not just saying it because we just interviewed her, Alyssa Wapanatâhk as Tiger Lily was outstanding, and we didn't get a lot of her, but when she was on screen and in those moments, there was a confidence, there was a stoicness, there was a wisdom, and she's surrounded by so many people that don't want to grow up. And she is the most grown-up person. She has such a perspective. And, as Alyssa said, that's rooted back to her cultural beliefs. So, what a fantastic job she did. But yeah, I think overall, there's some great stuff that's explored here. And it gives the right nods to Disney in ways that you would expect, whether it be a little moment or a musical cue of some kind.
Okay.
I really appreciated how they found ways to, integrate those elements. I would say, though, the biggest detriment to this movie is time, ironically. The movie felt overly rushed, and it rushed very specific storylines in a similar fashion to the original Peter Pan movie, and certain characters were underdeveloped. Like I was saying before, I would have loved to have seen more of Tiger Lily. I would have loved to have seen more of the Lost Boys, especially given the importance they have to Neverland and in this story. So yeah, there were things that I really found charming about this movie. It was, magical adventure that honors the original while still giving a bit of a fresh perspective. Right. But I think some parts of the story, I think that could have been explored more. But who knows? Maybe, like I was saying before, maybe we could see that in a series that explores Neverland. Yeah. I think that's
possible.
That's how I would like to see these characters lived on, is through some sort of episodic content that could expand and enlighten a little bit more about this version of Neverland.
If this movie is a platform or a stepping off point for more stories in Neverland, that's really what I'm all about. You know what I mean? I think exactly. That would be absolutely fantastic. I think Disney has a real opportunity to not necessarily do, sequels on sequels on sequels of live action, or more of these live actions. But if they really want to sort of use these as a way to sort of build out maybe a series of some kind on Disney Plus, yeah, dude, that would be really, really sick.
Yeah, and it made me wonder too, why not just explore Peter Pan through a series? It could have been a series, right? Mm-hmm. You could have spent a little bit more time, telling Wendy's story and moving into maybe the Neverland piece, right? Everything happens really quick. There is a sense of that urgency that feels very familiar to the original Peter Pan movie. So yeah, I feel like to kind of give some time after this movie to explore things a little bit more would be really great, because I think that they've effectively built a new Neverland to explore with new characters, and even the pirates are great, man.
Well, I was going to say, how did my boy Jimmy Gaff do?
He was great. He was great. Jimmy Gaff was good. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Jimmy Gaff was great, and that juxtaposed to Jude Law's portrayal of Hook, it was a great dynamic, and it really worked. It really worked well.
Well, to be a pirate and a Jedi all at the same time is a pretty fantastic year for that guy. But listen, I also wanted to just quickly, one last thing to the interview. I wanted to shout out Alyssa's love of Assassin's Creed, developed by a Canadian developer. So it's all about Canada.
It's all connected, bro.
It's all connected. And listen, Alyssa, if you're listening to this, never grow up. Keep playing video games forever. Justin, that is it. We hope you enjoyed this special Behind the Geeks episode, and if you did, make sure to subscribe to us wherever you like to listen to podcasts, and keep in mind we have a ton of other great episodes covering the latest in movies, TV shows, and games, including our recent spoiler-free reviews for the Super Mario Bros. Movie and Dungeons and Dragons. We also have a ton of interviews just like this one out now, like our recent interview with Aisha Tyler, as well as the co-creator and cast of Schmigadoon Season 2. I spoke to Anne Harada, Jaime Camille, and Cinco Paul. All those interviews are available to listen to on the podcast service of your choice, or you can watch them on YouTube at youtube.com/Geekcentric. Coming soon, we've got some fantastic interviews with some lovely folks from Star Wars Visions Volume 2, as well as director Peter Sohn for Pixar's next movie, Elemental. And, last but certainly not least, we got some Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 coverage coming soon. And so we are so excited for everything that's coming, to the Geekcentric podcast. It feels like we're kind of just getting back into the swing of things after Star Wars Celebration. And I cannot wait to see what we do next. And I hope you can't wait as well. So make sure to, stick around, give all those episodes a like, a listen, a comment, leave a 5-star review, subscribe if you do not mind. Justin, thank you so much for joining me for today's special Behind the Geeks episode. And as we say, love ya.
Peace.